implementation companies, what are the latest developments that are happening in education. And we invite all the people to network together through our magazine and our events that we organize regularly through the year. We have another very impressive magazine, which is the e-governance magazine, which talks about the government initiatives across both the state and the central e-governance initiatives that are undertaken by them through our portals as well as through our magazine. And the third magazine which we regularly take out is the Ehealth Magazine, which talks about the ICT initiatives and developments in healthcare sector. We again invite both the government and the private players to talk about the initiatives in healthcare. We've been successfully organizing both national and international conferences on all the three topics that I've just said, on education, on e-governance and e-health. The various successful summits that we organized are the World Education Summit, E-India Summit, which has participation on all the three sectors, which is our flagship events. We have the knowledge exchange forums that we organize with the higher education sector. We also ventured into BFSI sector where we do have all the financial institutions participate with us. We regularly organize governance initiatives with various state governments by the name of e-governance knowledge portals and forums. So we have been organizing education events along with various government functionaries like CRT, CBSE, education departments, Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan initiatives, IT secretaries, health secretaries. So everybody in the governance sector and all the three sectors, we collaborate with them to organize events and also have their participation in our magazines and portals. We had participation from various vice chancellors, both central and state universities, colleges, schools and government functionaries who have been participating with us at our education events. There's a small presentation we'd like to run for you to give you a brief about what we do at Ehealth Magazine. So that was a brief case studies as your thought process in education, where we can highlight them through our magazine and portals and reach out to the larger audience so that if there is some new initiative that has been undertaken by you in your colleges or universities, we can spread across that message to everyone for anybody else to also implement some initiative that has been undertaken by you. So you can get in touch with us and we would be happy to spread out that word for you. And also get in touch with us for our portals where we can, write all the case studies done by you And we also have various topics on education regularly. So we will keep in touch with you to invite your participation in our magazine. To now begin with our first session, which is on technology enhanced learning, what we can learn from MOOCs. We would invite on stage Dr. P. Balakrishna Shetty, Vice Chancellor, Sri Siddhartha Academy of Higher Education, Tumkur. Professor Iftikhar Alam, Dean, International Institution for Special Education. And Professor Dr. R.N. Sharma, Vice Chancellor, IASC University, Churu. Starting off with the next session, which is on how Indian engineering education system can support Make in India. The ambitious initiative seeks to make India a manufacturing superpower initiative.
With the opening batsman today for technology in education and MOOCs, whatever it is, because I see a lot of faculty members, deans and directors from engineering college, and I am the one from a medical college. Of course, our university has got medical, dental and engineering colleges. Now, technology in teaching, research and education. Of course, I'll be concentrating more on teaching and education and research by students, and maybe a little bit on MOOCs. Of course, I'm not an expert on talking about MOOCs, but I'll be touching upon a little bit about MOOCs. Now, coming to education, of course, we have, as rightly said by the initial speaker, we have got a lot of meetings everywhere happening in India, maybe because of our Prime Minister or whatever it is. We have got a lot of meetings happening about technology. We want our students to have the best of the technologies. So if you talk about education, of course, we talk about teaching, number one, which is basically decided by the number of hours of teaching and number of hours of attendance by the students. But I would say the most important part of education is learning. We all vice chancellors, faculty members should know whether our students are learning or not, rather than teaching. But whatever it is, we concentrate more on teaching. And second thing here is knowledge. We want our students to have knowledge. And we feel knowledge is only data collection, information. But what is important is whether our students have got wisdom or the capacity to take decisions at crucial times. This is more important. So rather than teaching and data collection and information, I will be concentrating more on student learning and how to make our students wise. Coming to knowledge, we always talk about teaching and knowledge. We teachers feel if the student can reproduce or give us a lot of knowledge, a lot of information, a lot of data, we feel he is the best student. Any student who scores maximum marks in his exams, he is the best student. That is what is our criteria. So let me ask you on these questions. We will be a little more interactive here. Where our students learn the most? We conduct 8 hours classes. Okay, almost in the classroom there are 8 hours. And if let us say there are 200 classes in a year, the students learn 1,600 hours. The students are spending almost 1,600 hours in the classrooms in a year. Let's say if every student learns for 2 hours a day, no student is studying 2 hours a day. But let's say even if I consider 2 hours, every student is learning 2 hours in a day for, let us say, not 365 days, 300 days. It comes to about 600 hours. Then we give students a revision holiday of 1 month, let us say, exam time revision, 25 to 30 days. In that 12 hours, even my daughter who is in a 12th standard, she is not reading 12 hours. Even if I keep it as maximum 12 hours, in 30 days it is 360 hours. And if it is only 10 hours, it is 300 hours. Now you have got here 1,600 hours, 600 hours and 300 hours. Now I would like to ask, where the students, I was a student, you are also a student, your son also a student, or your children are also student. Where they learn the maximum? Number 1, number 2 or number 3? Anybody? Whether in the classroom?
Number 3.
Or day-to-day work? Or exam time?
Exam time.
Exam time. Everybody, there is no no other opinion on this. Every student learn during the exam time. Even as a doctor, I have learned during my exam time. Whether I learned or not, I do not know. But my maximum data collection information comes my revision during the exam hours. Now, if we are learning maximum in 300 hours, why should we spend so much time in the classrooms? 1,600 hours in the classrooms. And of course, student homework is good. I don't have to question that. But almost 1,600 hours we spend in the classrooms, and it is very difficult to get the students into our classrooms. Okay, we talk about technology, but I'll ask you, is it so easy to get your students into the classrooms? It is so difficult. You cannot enforce even attendance onto your students. Forget about the technology to our students. Now, what is the solution for this? Okay, now if you consider only data or information, now if the students are learning maximum during the exam time, then the question is why they learn or why they collect, I don't say learn, why they collect maximum information. Here all faculty members should differentiate teaching and data collection, learning, and a good student. A good student is a wise student, a student who can take a decision. Okay? As a doctor, I cannot be a doctor with a lot of information. As a doctor, I should be a good surgeon, good orthopedician, or a good cardiologist. And not that I should know an entire theory of medicine or cardiology. Why the students learn maximum during the exam holidays? So we thought it is because during the exam time, they start questioning themselves, they start probing themselves, they start preparing for the exams, okay? So what I thought, in my classrooms, I should not waste the time of my student in the classrooms. So if they are studying during the exam time only, I thought, let each and every classroom should be an exam room, I thought. Every class I should conduct an exam, I thought. Instead of just coming and showing a PowerPoint presentation, our faculty members, I'm not blaming anybody, even in me, we'll put 25 lines on the PowerPoint, we'll keep on showing one by one PowerPoints, and teachers will start reading the PowerPoint presentation, students will be listening, I don't know whatever is happening. PowerPoint is the biggest curse for teaching profession. Instead of that chalk and talk method which we used to teach, the PowerPoint is the biggest curse for teaching profession, I would say. So then what I thought, include the students by questioning. So every 10 minutes, every 20 minutes, you include your students by questioning. How do you include your students by questioning? There are so many methods of questioning, because I am also a reviewer of what is called as a medical science educator. So medical science educator, because I am also a reviewer, I see a lot of abstracts, good abstracts, bad abstracts, I am a reviewer there. So what is the best questioning for a student? That's what I have reviewed. There are one type of questions that's called open question, just like I asked you, which is the best method of learning. It is an open question. I don't expect any answer from the student. We will say why BJP lost in Delhi elections. Like that, I'll ask a question, but I'm not expecting a answer from the students. It's called open questions. Second question is individualized question. I'll ask Ganesh, you answer me. Okay, that is another type of question. And the third is a group question, like what I asked now. For the group, I ask a question. Out of these things, they say group questions is the best. Open questions is always good. Like, our greatest speaker of our country, Narendra Modi, he keeps on asking questions to the audience. So he is the best speaker. Because, karenge kya, doing kya, he is asking questions. So he becomes the best speaker. So who is the best teacher? Who keeps on questioning your students. Keep asking questions to the students. Don't just teach or don't show PowerPoint presentations. So out of these, group and individual questions, if I ask a question to a student individually, he will be a little bit apprehensive. So that is also considered as not a very good method of asking questions individually. So group questions. So you keep probing the students so that he'll understand better and he'll learn better. For that, what I have done, this is one technology. I don't know, you must be heard of this technology, what is called answer first and discuss next. I don't take one-way class to my students. I don't come to the classroom and describe the anatomy of the heart. I tell my students read about the heart, and I ask questions in the first session, and I find out how many questions they are answering. After that, I'll give the answers. What is this? This is called 3 sessions are there. One is read, question, discuss. This is what is the classroom. This is the technology, I will tell you. This is the best technology which I have heard. Out of all the technologies, this technology in teaching, I feel the best technology, that is read. all students in the class are requested to read a topic or a subject. Question. 15 to 20 questions are projected in the PowerPoint. All are asked to write the answers. You don't ask questions to an individual student. Everybody with a piece of paper and pen, they'll write the answers. And after they write the answers, it takes hardly 5 minutes. If you aren't, if the question is there for 10 seconds, you can ask 6 questions in a minute. So in 10 minutes you can ask 60 questions. In 5 minutes you can ask 30 questions. You ask 30 questions on a particular subject, okay, electricity, whatever it is, you ask 30 questions. And all students will write the answer. Then with that answer, we will discuss that. This is what we are doing. So in the first lecture, all the students are writing answers here. Then I will be discussing answers and questions. And answer first and discuss next. Not question first and answer. Answer first and discuss next. Now coming to advanced, this is one to collect more data. I think by this technique you can see that your students will collect more data. Now second question I would like to ask everybody, if there is a complete information, whether their performance will be better in the exams or whether such students are successful. That is another question. So data collection information is not directly proportional to the way they answer, reproduce in the exams, and it is also not directly proportional to the success of the students. So what we should do? How to make the students learn? So mechanically imposed data, overwhelming amount of information will not make the students to make decision and make them wiser. So what I tell them, do not teach our students. Make them learn. We faculty members should see that our students will learn rather than teaching them. This is the second point. How to make the students learn? This is an old proverb. Like they say, if I read, I forget. If I write, I remember. If I do, I know. So what I do, my students, I'll ask them to do something. It is not that I teach them. I tell them to do something. What all I ask them to do? So in a study like University School London study, who will grasp better and respond better in examination? And in this particular research, London University has shown those who work with their parents, those who do their day-to-day work, those who participate in the parents' work, they reproduce better. For example, I see a lot of our students, you would have seen your students, they are very good in sports, extracurricular activities, and they are good in their studies also. How do they get time for everything? If they involve in so many other activities, they are good because they are involving themselves in the studies and all. So I talk to my student, it is not just walkathon, marathon. I say, you keep working. Everybody should work. Don't run, don't walk. Do some work. So what are these two problems? Two things I wish to do? Provide an opportunity in higher education student to work as a teachers in primary schools. This is the most important project which I suggested. One is participative leadership in education and social empowerment. That means this is called a police project where students, our own higher education students, will teach in primary schools. So what I'm telling is the students work as teachers. When you work as teachers, you learn better. When you give them all the information, they don't learn better. When you ask them to work as a teacher, they learn better. This is what's called a police project, which I have sent to MHRD and also WHO. The TEACH project of Rotary. The Rotary also has come out with what's called a TEACH project. Like they ask even the software engineers to come and teach in the primary schools. Even Christ University Bangalore has implemented this. So what is this? The two problems which are solved by this project is the number one problem here, I was just discussing with my friend Viraj also, career options for top students. This is a very important problem here. What is a career option for a top student? They want to go to professional schools, medicine, engineering, accounts, law, etc. Who will go to teaching job? Those who don't get anything. Very few opt for the teaching profession. Those who could not become a doctor, lawyer, engineer, accountant and all those things, they want to become a teacher. Yes or no? That is the last profession which all of us would like to do. If you have got a son, if you are a student, you don't want to make him a teacher. Very obvious, practical question here. So our teachers are not the best of the students who have come to the teaching profession. So the number of quality teachers in schools, especially public schools, is gradually diminishing, and this is a situation where in the public schools there are no students, no teachers, no nothing. Okay, and they are closing down. And how to get quality teachers to teach our children in the public schools? Second problem is students in universities. They are more theoretical, they are more exam oriented. What they do? Cut, copy and paste syndrome. They just cut copy from somewhere, cut and paste it and give it to you as a project. Any seminar you give, they'll copy and give. There is nothing they are doing. Okay. So the lack of leadership qualities. For that, what I have said, postgraduate students should teach at least for a month in primary schools, in the rural schools. This is what is called, just like a doctor does 1 year of internship, and even the engineers, I think they do 6 months of internship. I feel MSc students also should do 1 month of internship by teaching in rural schools. Involve the students in higher education as part-time teachers, at least 4 weeks per month, to teach students, preferably from 6th to 10th standard. This is very, very important. 6th to 10th standard students in our community, in our society, are the most important group of students who can become anybody. That is where you catch the students. This is where my student, he is teaching in a primary school, and the teacher is standing there observing all those things. Okay, let me finish now. This is called a PLEASE project. Okay. So it provides quality education in rural schools, it develops leadership skills in higher education students, and there are no hassles of implementation and big budgeting. It's a zero budget project which can provide the teachers in each and every school in the country. Okay, it has potential to play a major role in rural development. I will not go into this, but why I am telling this, even in the WHO, the World Health Organization, has given us so many millennium goals. In that, the first one is eradicate extreme poverty and hunger. But look at this, second one, achieve universal primary education. This is for the primary hospital, vaccine, all those things. For healthcare, we are telling eradicate poverty and hunger and give education. These are 2 main roles of healthcare. So this is very interesting. So WHO is telling, so we need to give education if we want our children should be healthy and successful. Third is involve students in social projects. Okay, this is a simple one. What I have done in university, students should plant the saplings. And we do Vanamahotsav and all those things. We put the plants, saplings, and we forget about it. So what I told in my education in my university, the students as soon as they join the MBBS, they have to put a sapling there, the first day. And they have to look after it during their entire course. And graduation certificate with the photo of the tree and the student. At the end of 4.5 years, we will take the photo of the tree and the photo of the plant, and the student will be given during the graduation certificate. This is how we wanted to involve students in social education. This is what we are doing. Okay. Now, student in research, the 4th point. How do you include students? Don't involve the students don't induct them as a teach students. Involve them as a research candidates. My first year MBBS student, first year engineering student, I have given them a research project. I would ask my faculty one faculty to give at least research projects for the students, because they don't know what research has to be done. We are the people, we faculty members should give a research. That is most important. You think of one research, because in the US what they do, all the faculty members do research, they utilize our students. Our research people are there in the US. And all the publications are because of the hard work done by Indian students. But our students' name is not there in the publication. So what I am telling, we faculty members have the right, have the opportunity to use our students to do research by the students. Okay? Allow them to do their indigenous work. All of us want autonomy. No? University says we want autonomous school. University says we want autonomous university. All those things. Similarly, you need to give some autonomy to your students. You should give them the freedom to learn something. We should not enforce everything. So where is the reference? Like when I was doing a project, when I wanted to do a thesis work, I gave a thesis work to my faculty. So faculty member asked me, where is the reference? So I said, sir, this is a new project, there is no reference. No, if there is no reference, you don't do this project. First one. The first day, snub you down there only. If you want to do new things, none of the faculty members will support you. No reference. That also they want foreign references, no Indian references. Western reference is that, then only you do it. Then I went with another proposal with a lot of references. Then my professor said, there is already a lot of references, so many people have done it, then why you want to do it? So this is the problem with our faculty members. We don't want to give the freedom to our students. Give the freedom to the students. He has got some innovative knowledge. He has got an innovative, just respect that. Let him do it. This is what's the problem. Even today, what I would say, even in our university ranking, we say there are no citations, there are no publications from Indian universities. Why? Because we cite publications from the Western university. There are 700 universities in our country. If everybody cite our own publications, our own research proposals, I feel at least one university will go up to 50 ranks. Because our citations are not there. We don't want to give our own citations. higher education students, are they, the last point I would like to say, the second point is, are they really deprived of technology? This is one thing we should know. If I ask my student here, get me the updated score of between Australia and New Zealand, he'll give you immediately within a fraction of a second. My student is full of technology. I am not aware of the technology. My student is full of technology. When I went to a conference, when I go for a presentation, I rehearse, previous day, next day, in the computer I rehearse. And when I went for a conference, my student sitting beside me, he was playing with the smartphone. He was doing all those things. I said, don't do it. So many times I did it. Finally, I snatched the cell phone to switch it off. And I could see in the smartphone, the entire presentation was there on the smartphone. And he was rehearsing the entire presentation on the smartphone with references, with cross-references. He was rehearsing. I didn't know. I thought he was playing with the smartphone. This is the technology my student has got, which I don't know. So I would like to say, whether you find out whether my student is deprived of technology or not. We cannot enforce anything to our students. Can you enforce attendance? That's what I'm telling you. A simple thing, attendance, I cannot enforce. My student, I tell him, you don't come for exams, you don't write exams because you don't have attendance, means he will question me. Sir, what you are checking, my attendance or my knowledge? If you are checking my knowledge, you allow me to sit for the exam. You check my knowledge there. And that went to the court. Court also told the student is correct. Student gave a reason. Somebody died in my family, all those things he will tell. Sir, I am coming to college to learn. I am not coming to the college for an attendance. So High Court told that you should allow the student to appear for the exams. So what I am telling, it is not only the technology. Even simple thing like attendance we cannot enforce on our students. So now you have to provide a time, incentive and support for the student to get the technology. He is studying from 8 to 4. Where will he use the technology? I am telling all the vendors here who are providing the technology, I ask the same question. You tell me the time when the students will go to the technology. If he is interested to go to the technology, he is ready to do any time. But give him the time to go to the technology. In summary, it should be fusion of technology. You should not deprive our students of technology. Students should have the technology. Every student will say what is the technology available in the school, in university. They'll always check whether the technology is available or not. That is important. Technology is important. Books are important, just like books are important. In present day, technology is also important. But it is our responsibility to provide time and incentives for the students to use that technology. Provide the technology and make them think and learn. Most important, I want my faculty members, my vice chancellors, my deans and principals make our students think and learn. Because in a Kovalam beach also, in a Kovalam conference, I heard a vice chancellor telling, they started glorifying our heritage. Our Indians are so intelligent, Vasco da Gama came to India because our own sailors got Vasco da Gama, all those things. We say, of course, we are very, very intelligent. But where is the intelligence? Where is the intelligence of our students in India? Why they go abroad and show their intelligence? Who are the culprits? We are the culprits. We vice chancellors, principals and deans are the culprits. We are not ready to recognize the capacity, the intelligence of a student. Tell me, any student, if your son or a daughter is in 12th standard, whether your teacher will tell you, your son, you take arts, you are good in arts, you take arts. You are good in science, you take science. You are good in debating, you take law. No teacher will tell. Teacher will come to the school, take the class and disappear. Our students our faculty members have to teach the indigenous capacity of our students, my dear faculty members. You should do that. Then only we can talk about technology. It is not the technology. We should see that our students are very, very genius. It's always said, the child is born genius. And it goes to school to become a stupid. Because we enforce in the technology. We enforce in the knowledge. We are not ready to understand their capacity, their indigenous power, their thinking powers. So in success, how the success? This is Harvard University says, 15% success is from information, 85% from attitude and inclusiveness. This is a Harvard University study. It is not the information technology. It is the inclusiveness of the student. The inclusiveness of the student comes by the motivation of the faculty members. And our faculty members should motivate our students. Decision from the heart, my dear faculty members. It is not your knowledge, it is not your intelligence which will motivate your students. It is your support, it is your encouragement, It is a love and affection which you show to your students which will make them the good students, or it will make them enjoy the technology. Let them enjoy the learning, teaching and technology. Then only they will learn. So my final technology is, number one, give them the most important knowledge by answer first and discuss next methodology. C2A technology. Increase their learning energy by social projects like police projects and the green graduation. Enhance the research attitude by inducting them as researchers, not just like exam writing robots. In conclusion, my dear faculty members, vice chancellors, stimulate the intellectual energy of our students. Strive for all our development, value-based extracurricular activities, and involve in social internship bodies. Thank you very much.
Did wonderfully well, everyone.
Double century.
Yeah. No, I have
Double
two.
century? No, I don't know. You should have scored double century because of my speech.
Yeah. Two questions, observations. See, many of these ideas are taking rounds, and the beauty of them is in implementing, and you have appropriately implemented them. For example, somebody may call it Sankalp or involving students or please. They are great initiatives. I have two curiosities. One is, what is the student's attitude when he is asked to do all these things? Number one. Who passes through these processes compared to a student who doesn't? Are you tracking some witnesses saying the student began like this, and because of these interventions, the student today is this? Or if there are any case studies that you can cite, one or two, which says, look, this is actually a transformative process.
Correct.
So if a transformation takes place, it would be interesting to know how, couple of examples, how this transformation actually took place.
Okay.
And the extent of participation in.
Yeah, let me answer the first two questions. Okay, the first two questions, the first green graduation project. Okay, this is a PUC passed student, first year MBBS. I told my student to come and plant the trees in my campus. And I never thought, I thought we cannot force anything, we just gave an idea. We thought students will not turn up. Believe me or not, 150 students, each and every student came on that particular day. And look at these students standing there, and these buckets. They brought buckets and tumblers from their mess, from the hostel rooms. We did not provide them. And these pits were done by the university. And the students were telling, sir, don't dig pits. We will dig pits. Students are telling, MBBS students are telling. And I said, each and every student should take care of this plant for the next 4.5 years. And I asked the opinion of one of the students. One girl student, she comes up and says, sir, not only 4.5 years, every year I'll come to this university and I'll take care of this. I'll see where is my plant and how it is, I'll see. Another girl student comes to the podium and she says, sir, not only me, my children will also come and see this plant because this is a plant which I put in my university. Sir, don't underestimate the attitude of our students. They have the attitude. Provided you give them an opportunity. You give them an opportunity, and if you are providing only technology, if you are providing classroom one-way teaching, they will disappear. You provide them an opportunity. You just give me an innovative technology and give them an opportunity to do that. 100% I'll say our students are more than necessary. That they're very enthusiastic to do all these projects. That is my experience. Now, second point is, what is the end result? I am Vice Chancellor for the last 2 years only. I don't know the end result, but I feel as a doctor, as a Vice Chancellor, I feel whatever you want to do, if you are doing good, the end result will be good. Believe that. What I am telling is, whatever you are doing good means whatever doing good is what you are doing. Whenever you do your duty, whenever you are doing your dharma, they say dharma is duty, not our religion. Whenever you do duty or whenever you do dharma, you will be always, you will be awarded for that. That is what is called dharma or rakshita. When you do your dharma, you will be protected. I feel that. But I don't want it. So, see, we the Indians, we believe in that. Okay? Karmanya vadhikarasa ma phaleshu kadachana. We don't look into the results, sir. We want to work. We want to implement good projects. Result is left to the Almighty. Thank you.
To you that you have enlightened some of the key issues, and yesterday I was in Delhi, and there we were in the training of trainers program, and there we were told that in the classroom there should be a 60-40 ratio, means 60% activities and 40% from the teachers.
Correct.
But unfortunately, because most of the vice chancellors are sitting in this house, so unfortunately what is happening in our colleges and schools, that the teachers are worried about completing the syllabus. So in place of education which is syllabus oriented, can't we make it as an activity oriented? This is the thing, and what we can, because so many government departments, unfortunately we are not being credited for our work, because our students are working in foreign countries, and some others are getting the credit of our work. So we need to develop an environment. So is that 60-40% ratio? Do you agree with me? The first question.
Yes, I agree very much with that. Your exams oriented teaching will be 40%. But of course, I am not the policy maker for this.
This is where the trouble arises.
Yes, and the second thing is that
I have implemented in my university, but I am not the policy maker for the health education or education in this country.
Even for your kind of education knowledge, I would like to submit that in IITs and IIMs also, only 20 to 30% course is completed, and remaining the students are doing themselves. The teachers is only creating the attitude to read, how to read. They are not completing the syllabus.
Yes.
But in other colleges, it is not happening. Their prime job is just to complete the course.
Yes.
Syllabus.
Yes.
The second thing, we are not going for motivation of the students. We are not teaching how is the mind management, stress management, study techniques. These things we are not doing it.
Yes.
So every teacher is just concerned of the student.
Correct.
So in that area, a lot of work is required to be done.
Yes.
Through you, I would like to pass it to all.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Technology is required for the faculty members. We cannot just glorify our history. There is a Newton in your own university. Who knows? You have to identify. There will be a Vasco da Gama. There will be a Megalon. There will be somebody in your own university. We have not identified any student who is a good student. Other day I told, when my student went for a job in Apollo hospital, they called for interview, then said, okay, where you are trained? Okay, I am a student of Dr. Shetty. Okay, then there is no interview for you, come and join tomorrow. You know, I feel good in that. Have I done a job of training my student very well? It is not important how much syllabus you have finished. At the end of 45 minutes, 1 hour class, you should ask your own consciousness whether my son or my student has learned something during that class or not. That is important. How much information he has taken at the end of that class. That is more important than how much syllabus you have finished. Whether you have finished your syllabus is irrespective for that student. The student is least bothered, I'll tell you, don't worry, don't feel bad. The student is least bothered about what class you have taken. The student goes home and reads, and student reads during the exam holidays. You are a student, I was a student, I know. We used to bunk classes. Why? Because we are not interested. Because our teachers are not motivating us. The teachers are sitting and just finishing the syllabus. And our organizations, our institutions are just looking at how many first class, how many distinction, how many 100% results. Our classrooms or our institutions are not interested how many good students with wisdom who can take decisions, who are successful. They are not concentrate on that. That is the biggest problem.
Sir, one question I have ever heard in my entire life, and one question, in fact, that is creating problem for me means we are spending lot of money in IITs, and most of the IIT students are going outside. So how to stop all this brain drain? Do you have any idea?
Brain drain. Don't worry about that. Don't worry. I was in the US for 3 years. I asked one student, and you must be knowing this. I asked, we all talk about why brain drain. The brain drain is better than the brain in the drain, you see. That's happening here. You don't get any respect here. You don't want the responsibility here. Brain in the drain is much better than the brain drain. That's what I feel. All these questions should be answered if you are providing the facility and the responsibility for students. Why they'll go out? That we have to answer. We should not answer why students are going out. You should answer a question why students are not remaining here. Why students are not here? That we should answer. That question.
We have to find out our weaknesses.
We have to find out our own weaknesses.
Sir, unfortunately, you are having a foreign return. That's why you got the opportunity here. You were there.
Possible. They always look at FRC and oh, very good doctor like that. They don't know. Indian doctors must be much better. Now they say fetal scanning, the female feticide. You must have heard of all those things. The radiologists are doing ultrasound. They find out boy or girl, and girl child they'll abort. That's happening. That is the biggest hue and cry. I asked them why the parents here don't want a girl child. You ask that question first. If I doing a scan in Middle East, I work in Middle East also. I do a scan. I always tell the sex of the baby. If I tell it is a female baby, the parents will jump with joy, And in USA, if I tell female baby, their parents are so happy. And in our good family members who are well-to-do, they are very happy with the girl child. I am very happy with the girl child. Then why they want to see that is a girl child? Why want to about that basic social questions they are not ready to answer. They are not ready to answer that. They are telling don't do this sex determination. One Jawan came and at the scanning, sir, he said, sir, tell me the sex of the baby. I am a radiologist, I do ultrasounds. So sex of the baby. Then I said it's illegal, I'll go to jail. Now if you tell the sex of the baby, they'll take you to the jail immediately.
Yes.
And you cannot also make some signals and all, like, if a boy we should do like this, if a girl we should like this, all those things we should, because we can't give a report on that. See, if you cannot a documented report as a boy or a girl. So parents used to make a signal like this, very intelligent there. They'll immediately pick it up. Yes. Then he said, sir, you tell the sex of the baby, sir. Why? I have not tell. Sir, if you don't tell the sex of the baby, as soon as this baby is born, if it is a female baby, I am going to kill that baby. If you tell me the sex of the baby within 20 weeks, I am going to abort. How is they used to kill? There are so many methods to kill. Hanging on the fan, burying, all those notorious things they used to do. So what is important? He said, I have got 7 female children, sir. That Jawan has got 7 girls. This is the 8th pregnancy. Genuine question. Sir, if you tell me the sex of the baby, I will abort. If you don't tell, I cannot take care of the baby, I have to kill that baby. So the question is the root cause, the social problems you have to understand. They come and so many accreditation committees have come to rank the universities. They want to rank the universities. What is that to rank the university? Go and rank our village schools, you see. They see a lot of money in our universities, deemed universities, private university. We have citations, presentations, all those things we will rank. Don't rank our universities. And they rank according to Western standards. You go and rank our schools in the villages.
Exactly.
Why rank our university?
This is what should be done.
This is what to be done. Where there are no teachers. Where it is that is what I do. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
The Iftikhar Alam, Dean, International Institution for Special Education, Lucknow, on stage.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Sir came and he opened the innings, did a Shikhar Dhawan versus South Africa. Now the onus lies on me to do a Virat Kohli. I'll try my best. Let's see how it goes. Right. I'll try to pick it up from where Sir started, and he rightly said that wisdom is something that we need to focus upon, that we need to stress upon. What's happening in our classrooms is that we are always in a hurry to complete the syllabus. The pressure is on us. The pressure is from what you call the management. The pressure is what you call the university. It could be from anywhere. Yeah, sure. Thank you. That would be good. So, under that pressure, we simply come to the class. We get some PPTs. We incorporate some important points, and then we come and show to the students and do some talking. The students, they give us the impression that they are learning, they are listening to us, they go to their homes, and that is the end of it. If we talk about value addition, there is none. Sometimes the teachers, they complain that the students sitting at the back, they're dozing off, somebody is like this, somebody is like that, somebody is talking. someone is playing on the mobile phone, you've got the social media, WhatsApp, everything, whatnot. So they say that the problem lies with the attitude of the student. They say that the students, they're not interested. I believe that is not the case. The problem lies within us, the ones who are responsible for delivering something which is of use to them, but they're not getting that out of us. There was a very interesting research that was conducted in the US, where it was, researched upon as to when somebody gives a presentation or when somebody is communicating with an audience. So what impact words have and what impact the way that thing is delivered has. So let's say if it is words that I'm using, I'm talking to you people here, all good people here, I'm using words, I'm using my knowledge here, but I'm also using something which is my body language, the way maybe I start using the space around me, the way I maybe use haptics here. So what impact words and non-words have? Surprisingly, it was 93% in favor of non-words and only 7% words. So what it tells us is that what we say is not as important as how we say. That doesn't mean that knowledge is not important. It doesn't mean that. Knowledge is definitely important. It brings credibility. It brings faith in what you are saying. But then how you say it is much more important. Technology, yes, it is good. It is crucial. We are living in a knowledge economy. So we cannot stay aloof from it. But then we simply cannot become slaves to it. And that is what is happening today. We have got these, beautiful PPTs. The students, they are overawed. My goodness, where has sir or ma'am got this from? And the student is glued to it. Glued to only that part which shows them something attractive. But when it comes to that value addition, they simply do not get it. We say that the students, they don't come to the class. They are simply not interested. The cafeteria or maybe the rec room is more important to them. Yes, it is important. But why? That's because we, the teachers, are not able to make our classrooms interesting. There is something missing out and missing out big time. I do understand there would be, let's say 5%, 10% or maybe 15% of the students who have come to the class just for the sake of a degree. But what about the remaining 85-90%? They do not come to the class not because they just want a degree. They don't come because they do not find it interesting. They can predict the examination. They can predict the question. They know the pattern. They know if they go through the last 4-5 years, the question papers, they'll be able to, succeed well, be able to get more than 60% marks. And that is what is hurting. That's hurting the students, that's hurting us and the country in totality. So in order to counter that, we at International Institute for Special Education have come up with a very, very unique application-based teaching methodology. We have a continuous evaluation pattern, where we have kind of tried to get rid of this, traditional examination pattern. It's all based on case studies, it's all based on assignments, projects. The students, they are evaluated continuously over the trimester. The focus is on learning things by way of doing, not just simply rote learning where you've got those books, you go through those, the definitions, what somebody said, and then you give those quotes in your examination copies, and that's how you gain marks. No. We've had enough of it. We have seen that the students, they simply fail to learn, and that is why we have come up with this new thing, and believe me, it's working. It's working big time. The students who would earlier complain that, they were not able to answer well in the interviews, they are now saying that they can recall. They can recall what the difference between sales or marketing is, what branding is, all by virtue of being, having done that thing in the past through case studies, through projects, through various types of things that we have introduced. So So wisdom is something that we need to develop in our students. There is no alternative to it. Somebody said, I cannot remember, somebody said that it is 1,000 times better to have common sense without education than to have education without common sense. So if we keep on stressing upon the books, we keep on telling them to go through these questions, these are going to fetch you marks, sorry, that is not going to work. Marks is one thing, yes, you get 60%, 70%, 80%, then yes, you have value. But unless you have something here inside this grey matter, you are of no use. Our Honorable Prime Minister also, he has been stressing upon the same thing. The millions of graduates passing each year, but what they're lacking is employability. Hardly 5-10%, who pass out, they have it in them. So we need to, increase that number. We need to take it higher, and the onus lies on us. Once again, I would like to stress upon the same fact that we need to make our classes interesting. Use technology. MOOCs is something that we cannot get rid of in the near future. It is there to stay. But then that is something which we need to use very judiciously. Okay? There used to be distance learning earlier, where you would have these students coming to a center, they would be studying and there would be classes every Saturday, Sunday. With MOOCs, you can now have millions of students hooked on to the same program, and not just curtailed to a country. It could be all across the world. But then we simply cannot depend upon it. Even with MOOCs, we have to take a few steps to make teaching interesting, to make learning interesting for the students. Once we do that, believe me, it is going to do wonders for our country, our own country. And then somebody mentioned brain drain. I don't think that's going to happen. Then maybe some kind of a reverse brain drain is going to happen, where people from US and UK and all those developed countries, they're going to turn to us. They're going to come to us. That is the day that we should hope for. That is the day that we should work for. And I believe in that. I wish everybody believes in that. We need to have faith, like Sir rightly said, we need to have faith in the attitude of our students. They have it in them. They're like clay. It's very basic thing which we all have learned or we have heard somewhere. They're like clay. They're in our own hands. We have to mold them, and we have to mold them in the right manner. Everybody can. It's just that we need to have that attitude where we know that we are into a noble task, teaching that is, and we simply don't have to be teachers. We have to be trainers. We have to be mentors. That is how we can bring about a change. And that is all I had to say. Thank you so much. Thank you. Any questions?
I think you mentioned that you have a lot of success with this continuous evaluation. At most institutions, new faculty who come in are unfamiliar with this. I'm curious what you do to train them to this.
Okay. You rightly said that it is not very difficult to implement. Once they're in the system, they are made to, they are attached to some teachers, some faculty members, some trainers who are already into it. Takes hardly 5 to 7 sessions. And when I say sessions, that doesn't mean just the classroom included, but also field visits, just to get a feel of how things are done. And just 5 or 7 sessions, and that is it. The teachers, they are well versed with it. And after that, with continuous support from the existing members, the old ones, it is all done. Hope that answers your question.
Yeah, working. I think it's very good.
Thank you so much. I do invite you to visit our campus in Lucknow. Do join us sometime. Thank you, people. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Alam. I will now invite on stage Professor R.N. Sharma, Vice Chancellor, IASC University, Churu, to give his presentation.
Organizers. Our first opening batsman has talked of brain drain is better than brain in the drain. So So the organizers have put our brain in the drain by inviting here and without taking proper care, without giving proper address of the venue. Well, most of the participants have traveled 30 to 40 kilometers extra and wasted their time to reach here. So they should take care, and when they are inviting vice chancellors particularly, they should be very fair. They should have informed us that this is the exact venue. They are from Noida, and Noida is the place where if you do not have the correct address, you cannot reach. You can start in the morning, but you will not be able to reach in the evening. Secondly, they have given us only the folder. So I have come after traveling around 300 kilometers, and I will go back 300 kilometers, and I will spend my whole day here, leaving my office. And they have just given us this folder. So I don't think that they have given better treatment or good treatment even to the participants. So I request them to take care these two things in future, so that more and more academic administrators can be motivated to come to participate and to work for you. Now I come to the topic. The first thing which the information technology says or imparts is the information to the students. It is ocean of information. You can click a button and you will get the information on a particular topic. But if mere reading or mere compiling a information will be sufficient. First moot question from my side to this august audience is, will information be sufficient for the student or something more is required? You have to churn out that information to get the knowledge. So churning process cannot take place on a computer or online. For that, live interaction, like video conferencing, live interaction is required. As our learned friend has said, that mere speaking will not work. You have to interact, keep the students interactive so that they can remain active and can understand the things. So my opinion is that information technology is alright. You can collect the information, but how to churn out the knowledge out of that? It is just like extracting ghee or cream from the milk. Then if you have knowledge, will you be able to implement that, execute that for your benefit or for the benefit of the society? Unless you have someone to guide you properly, you will not be able to utilize your knowledge, use your knowledge for your betterment as well as for the betterment of the society. And here the role of teacher comes into picture. So when we say that distance education through IT learning, through video conferencing, through TV lectures, that may work to the tune of 20 to 30%, 40%, but remaining 60% will have to be performed in consultation with the teacher in the classroom. And that is why it was rightly said that 60% should be the theory work and 40% can be the practical work. But here we are more relying on theory rather than on practice. So the practical aspect is that teacher should act as motivator, he should be a best communicator, and he should impress upon the students that he is the only guardian who can guide you in best manner. Because parents are not expert in the area of education. But the present crop of teachers, including myself, academic administrators and teachers, They are just interested in minting money. Because of this globalization, everyone is running behind money, everyone is running behind money, and for money they can do anything. What? Maybe legal or illegal, ethical or unethical, moral or immoral. So we have to teach our students that what is difference between ethical norms, unethical norms, what is moral, what is immoral, what is human and what is humane, what is society and where are you, what is the co-relationship between you and your family, you and the society, you and the nation. Present generation, to our dismay, present generation do not care of the country, they care of themselves. A woman gives birth to a child at the cost of her beauty. And when that boy marries with a daughter, he leaves his mother for a beautiful woman. So this cycle will complete. When that lady will become mother, then the same cycle will be repeated. So that should be kept in mind, and we have to, the teachers or academic administrators have to create an environment in their institutions, in their classrooms, so that students, in addition to the course curriculum, they should know where they stand, what are their social responsibilities, what are their duties apart from their rights. But we talk of rights because teachers and academic administrators also talk of their rights. So students learn from us, and they will also crave for the rights and rights only. And Bhagavad Gita slok karmaniya vadikaraste ma phalesu kadachana, that goes on the back foot. Even our political parties, they give tall expectations, create tall expectations. In legal term, I can say that legitimate expectations are aroused by the political parties through election manifesto. And after coming to the power, they ignore that. So I am not talking of any political party, it is common phenomenon for almost all the political parties. Here I quote Chanakya. Recently one serial is appearing on the color TV, Chakravartin Ashok Samrat. Chanakya is the real teacher who not only motivates but who takes drastic and to the point decisions how to carve out a king from an ordinary boy, Ashok. So he carved out Ashok as a king. So that is the duty of the teacher. But unfortunately, we follow the Western pattern. Whatever social circumstances, civilization, culture is there, that culture we are adopting. And that is the root cause of disintegration of our social setup. Because there, they have only rights. Only state has duties. Here in India, we have our duties and we have our rights. But there they have only rights. State has only duty. Their situation is different. But we imitate the concept which we are seeing there. And that concept is the root cause of today's problems. Information technology comes nowhere in between. That is good because we can have knowledge of all the world. But how to use that for our benefit, for our societal benefit, for our national benefit, to uplift ourselves, we don't know. Because the academic policy makers, educational policy makers are unfortunately administrators only. Whenever the policies are framed regarding the education, the teachers or the academic administrators are left out. and the result is that 100% experiments have been conducted in the education sector, and they failed to the extent of 120%. Whatever may be the structure, but you have to inculcate in them the sense of social responsibility. And the social responsibility factor should be incorporated in the contents of information technology, so that the logistics behind the educational contents can be understood in social context. And if we will be able to go do this through information technology, through ICT, then the ICT will prove a boon for not only for the development of an individual person, but for the development of the country. Then the teachers, in addition to that, should act as guides also. They should not only motivate, but they should guide the students in their individual capacity. Then what I want to say is that, at the end, that the knowledge should be based on values. Contents of education should be imbibed with the ethical values, social values, cultural values of country, so that this biggest attractive media for imparting education or imparting knowledge, that is information technology, can be used for the development of the country. And we are doing in our institute, we have separate department for Chetana Vikas Mulya Shiksha, and through that we organize in-service teachers camps, 10 days camps, and we impart them the meaning and the contents of values which are required to be imparted to the students while discussing their respective subjects in the classroom. And not only that, they are motivated to approach the students and their parents at their home and have interaction with them and point out their parents that these are the merits of your child, these are demerits of your child, take care of him, we are also taking care of him, so that he can be a wise man, a literate man, a good person, good citizen of the country in future. So that pattern we have to adopt, and I request the IT people to develop such type of contents and use those contents in their introduction, that this is the objective of our subject contents, and unless you understand these objectives, you will not be able to understand what the contents we are just giving you at the later stage. So I think this will be helpful, and IT sector can be used, or ICT can be used for the development of the nation and for spreading the cultural, social and ethical heritage of India. If you have any question. Right, thank you.
Simon, just 1 minute. I think somewhere we missed the theme. The 4 bullet points. MOOCs has become.
I believe you can join us here for putting down the points.
Okay, it's fine. So the first is MOOCs has in a way shaken the education world like no other event in the past. Large number of students enrolling. Unfortunately, not large number of faculty members enrolling. Anyway, I remember having that Satya Nadella says I enroll in more MOOCs courses than I complete, but that is the spirit. 2, there is a debate in the Western world at least going whether the MOOC will kill the university or replace the university in the traditional sense. 3, in a developing country context like ours, MOOCs is a level playing field in the sense that if we can take advantage of it and blend it with our classroom teaching, it can get you access to the international teaching resources, blend it with a teacher facilitator. I think that can do a world of good to our students in terms of quality of education that we deliver. I think the major challenges that I see we have been trying to implement, I don't think many universities work on a system called the learning management system. So we have a LMS where, as Dr. Shetty said, we put every resource of the university on the LMS. We use a technology called Blue Book technology to record sessions that are delivered by the faculty, and they are also accessible to the students in case they missed, but unfortunately we are also emphasizing the attendance. I think there is a time when an organization gets mature to get out of the attendance syndrome. But I think MOOCs is a great opportunity. I was looking forward to some of you sharing whether they have experimented with it. We have in a flipped classroom session, in the sense the teacher looks at what is available in the MOOCs, adapts it to his own teaching, uses those resources to deliver and facilitates. And I'm taking a cue from Dr. Shetty. Yes, every student is expected to come to the class after going through either a video or reading notes which are put on the LMS, or do anything that is expected from him to get engaged in the class. I'm looking forward to some inputs on MOOCs, if you can.
That's right. So after 5 people speak about MOOCs, I thought I should be the 6th batsman talking about how to utilize MOOCs and how to involve students in MOOCs and how to make learning more important than teaching. But opening batsman started wrongly, I would say. In the beginning only I said I am not talking too much about MOOCs. I am talking too much about...
I thought session is actually an opportunity to exchange ideas.
Absolutely right. The session is on MOOCs. Then I wanted to talk more about inclusiveness of my students, because my students in everywhere, the students are there. We talk about value-based education to the student, technology-based education to the students, moral-based education to the student. Everything we are talking to the students. I really don't know what the student should follow. If my son or a daughter is a student, I don't know what she should follow. That was my real apprehension. So I thought I'll put it forward. But the stalwarts in technology, I thought they'll talk more about MOOCs. I think you should talk a little more about MOOCs. I don't know who are all using MOOCs. They should talk. I think I request organizers, if there is some time, they should speak for 5 minutes regarding MOOCs, because I am not an expert. I am not utilizing MOOCs.
I represent a very new university. I'll introduce myself.
Why don't you come here?
Today session in a way that sets the whole perspective right. I'm Prem Kumar from BML Munjal University. I am currently director. I have implemented this project design, and I was vice chancellor of the university earlier. I am officiating vice chancellor of this university. Being sponsored by a large group, we had that opportunity of not looking at the returns in an immediate context. Although we thought some point of time the university should become viable. We are 50-acre campus on the outskirts of Gurgaon. We started with engineering and management, and this question of how to impart education in a way that is more practical. Actually, the idea of setting up the university was to address some of the gaps in higher education. So we thought employability, for example, is a major concern, and narrowness of education is a major concern. We have a partner in Imperial College London as mentor of the university. Imperial earlier mentored IIT Delhi, and Imperial came in to help us. Imperial is ranked second in the world, 500 last QS ranking of 500 universities. So it was an opportunity. So we engaged an international e-learning expert and asked him to develop. So we realized that our traditional teacher, will not be able to deliver education, and that is a challenge. Education in a way that is required today to be highly engaging, to be highly practical. There are 2 objectives. So we hired a gentleman who had this experience and he developed 5 modules where he guided the teacher to bring in exercises, bring in projects, bring in international learning materials that are available to showcase that is what is possible. We completed 1 semester. I can share with you. We just had a round of presentation from the faculty. So students were given highly practical, whether if it is mathematics or physics or commerce, highly practical problems. They were given selective, carefully chosen material to go through before they came to the classes. And the result has been very positive, very high level of satisfaction. We measured the satisfaction actually. We saw the attendance of the students. I mean, we are forcing it, but we actually saw the attendance of the student upwards of 75%, which partly owes to the fun that you have in class. We also experimented with some ideas, like in the first semester of engineering, we have a course called Joy of Engineering. Now this course, Joy of Engineering, is normally engineering starts after second year. So Joy of Engineering is first year, letting a student do something, develop something. I mean, a group of students, they may develop a small contraption, saying a small rover which takes a thing from here, keeps it there. Using local material available in the market or available in the workshop. The workshops are open, part of the workshop is open 24 hours a day. So MOOCs is actually an opportunity. It is not replacing the education system, but a developing country like ours has great access to the international learning materials. If we can trace somehow, the missing link in this is how to get a teacher excited about MOOCs or using the international resources that are available. There are many issues, ego-related issues. For example, if I ask you to, there are beautiful set of 40 lectures of physics by an MIT professor. It is worth seeing. So if a teacher uses that and then comes in, so there is an ego question. This guy is delivering, I am only explaining what is this guy saying. This is one. Two, the teacher's own self-esteem. There is a question of his self-esteem going down. I think these are some of the issues which we need to, I don't fully comprehend it, and therefore I said, as a proviso, we are very new to tell you today what MOOCs has done to us, but we see it as an opportunity and in fact we are encouraging. I have enrolled with myself in a course to have a flavor of how things go, but it can actually, if you look at the 3 problems of Indian higher education are access, availability and quality. And the quality is a big issue. We have had massive expansion, and this is one way out. And today when I look at higher education, I think we are caught in a chakravyuh. So we knew how to get into, but how to come victoriously out is that you find 100 odd institutions closing. Last year 300 odd closed. That's the chakravyuh. We got into it and we don't know how now to get out of it victoriously. I say. So many of them are actually getting killed in the process, which is very unfortunate in a country like this with low GER. I mean, there is a big opportunity to actually create more institutions, but this is unfortunate. And I think MOOCs is, or internet, I would not say MOOCs, I would say digital learning material available today is a big opportunity for integrating with what we do in our educational institution. Whether you are in a metro or you are located in a remote corner. Actually, if you are located in a remote corner, there could not be better time for higher education than is today, because you have access to all the learning on a platform which you can actually leverage to. And as I told you, as I look at it, the missing link is somehow getting, I mean, we have to have believers like Dr. Shetty, somehow to get teachers into the loop to start using it. Thank you very much.
But after the session, we would now request Mr. Naresh Duble from Armstrong to give away the speaker mementos. As Mr. Duble is joining us on stage, I would like to tell Mr. Sharma that we have been doing conferences for the last 8 years now. This is our 150th conference today, and having said that, we've organized conferences, both national and international. Mr. Duble will be, witness to that. And being human, yes, we did not get the time to get the bags this time, but generally we do have them. And in fact, we have some available for you if you need so at the registration counter. And Mr. Duble, if you could just join us. Professor Raj. Professor Iftikhar Alam, Dean, International Institution for Social Education, Lucknow. If you could invite everybody to come forward for a group photograph. Starting off with the next session, which is on how Indian engineering education system can support Make in India. The ambitious initiative seeks to make India a manufacturing superpower initiative.